294. Shh. Basi Legani, the copies, page 294, where it goes to the bottom of the page. Okay, 2, 4, 6. 6 times at the bottom of the page. The last thing the Rebbe was explaining was the 3 interpretations of the word tzava. Tzava means army, soldier, it means time, and it means beauty. And he says the ultimate level of beauty is when it's composed of many colors. Then, not only is the general picture beautiful, but each detailed color becomes beautiful through that. And he says, same thing in Yiddishkeit, there are the 2 extremes. The multi-big scholars, and then the simple people. Yeah, and each one adds to the other one, they complement each other. So he says, therefore he says, what does it mean, time? The second interpretation of time, every person is given the time, how much they're going to live in the world. They have a mission to accomplish. They're given a mission they're given the time based on the amount of mission you have to accomplish, and don't waste any time. So he says, why do we say, it's not the question of days, it's a question of Torah mitzvahs. Why do we say the emphasis on the days, ba bayomim, like it says coming in days, that the days have to be complete? It's not the concept that the days have to be complete. Torah mitzvahs have to be complete. So he starts explaining that the Tzemach Tzedek explains that because the neshama comes into the body, it has evil in it, and therefore needs to be cleaned. Like he said, tshuva u'masim tevim. What do you mean ma'asim tevim through tshuva? It's not enough that you should do action, there has to be good action. And that is cleansed through what cleans the action, that's the Aved of Tefillah. That's what we're up to now. V'nei chitas ma'aseh adam, 6 times in the bottom of page 294. V'nei chitas ma'aseh adam naseh the Aved of Tefillah. The cleaning of the actions of the person, meaning what refines the person's actions, that they're doing it mamish for Hashem, is Aved of Tefillah Kiyadua. Shali is Kolinyoni HaTorah Mitzvahs, the elevation of all aspects of Torah Mitzvahs. And the same thing, the Hamshachas, the revelation that you bring down, is Ayidei Aved of Tefillah, which is through the davening, which is a ladder. Boots of Arts of Reisha Megashamayma, like we learned, what's davening? A ladder that connects earth and heaven. Sulam Mutzav Arza. We go. And it's connected to the heaven. Let's see, now that's what we're up to. Avedas HaTfilah, U'inyan Avedas HaYem Yem V'Layla. Tfilah is day and night. When do you daven? Day and night. Shai Tfilah is connected to Midim Tiknum. Tfilah is, one opinion in the Gemara is, they're corresponding with the Korbanis in the Beis Hamikdash. The morning Korban, afternoon Korban, and Ma'ariv, because of the limbs that were burnt, the leftover limbs and fats that didn't have a chance to burn during the day, so they lit them at night. They burnt them at night. Which is morning, which is morning and evening. And like explains and look at the Torah and the meaning of the pasuk. Doesn't say Einod yet. He says, like explained out, the Rebbe explains what it means. You should know today, put to your heart that God is God in the heaven above and the earth below, Einod, right? Nobody besides him. The Inyan Hashevei Salavevecha, what does the pasuk say? Yadaita Hayim, you should know today, Vasheveisa Elavavecha. Not only should you know, you should put it to your heart. Lev. Now what's Aveda Shebelev? The Gemara says, is davening. The Gemara, returning to your heart. Now the Gemara says, how do we know there's a mitzvah to daven? It says, Ulavdei b'chol levavchem. You have to serve Hashem with all your heart. What is the Aved of the heart? It's davening. So he says, Aved Shebelev is tefillah v'agdom alazeh. And what's the introduction to davening? V'yadai ta'ayim, they should know today, Pirush. V'yadai ta'ayim. What do you mean you should know today and not tomorrow? The pasuk says we say it every day in davening, Aleinu, yeah? You should know today. And if you know yesterday and tomorrow, I mean, what's the emphasis today? So he says, just like a day is composed of night and day. In Yiddishkeit, the night precedes the day. So Like it says, "Vayerev abayka yem echad." The same way, "Vashivei sal vacha shekmeilu shubizman." The way it is in time, night and day, the same thing is in the nefesh. Meaning, like the Alter Rebbe explains, you should know like a day. What do you mean a day? A day has night and day. So the same thing you should know. Now the Rebbe is going to explain now that in the nefesh, there's the Aveda of night and the Aveda of day. He says, Shekmei shubizman. The same way it is in time, that there's a concept of night and day, kachu benefesh. Shabeis levavis. The two hearts of the person, levavecha, is Yetzer Teva, Yetzer Hara, which is the level of Yem v'Laila b'nefesh ha'adam. Yem is the Yetzer Teva, and Laila obviously is the Yetzer Hara. Heim Shneim Ke'echad. So what's the goal? Shegama Yetzer Hara Yoshev Lavedas Hashem. That even night should become day. What does the pasuk say? So this explains. Vayi Erev, Vayi Boker, Yom Echad. That means Laila also becomes Yom. Vayi Erev, Vayi Boker, Yom Echad. So what happens? Even the Erev becomes. That means even Laila becomes Yom. Which means in the nefesh, the Yetzer Hara also becomes Yetzer Tov. What does it mean, day and night? Concealment versus revelation. That even the night, which represents the concealment of godliness, should become Yom Echad. That even that should be revelation. Shegama Yetzer Hara Yoshev Lavedas Savai, like it said, B'chol Avav B'shnei Yitzerecha Vayidei Zeh. And this causes the flaws of Avedas Adam. It influences and affects the Aved of the person of Hashem Echad, that Hashem Hu Elokim, that even Elokim nature, even world, even night, because Teva, Elokim is 86 Teva. Teva is numerically, 80. HaTeva is 86, right? Which is Elokim. But what Teva mean? Teva doesn't mean nature only. It means nature. But why is it called Teva? Because Tubu'u b'yamsuf, there is sunken in the sea. Teva means Elokus, which is sunken. What do you mean sunken in the sea? You don't see it. It's concealed. It's Laila. Laila, you don't see. So what's the Avaida? That Havaya Echad, meaning that Havaya Hu Elikim, Zal Klolis in Avedas HaTfilah. That's the general concept of davening, Shavedas Yem Yem. Yomim Yitzaro Lich Reitz V'Lichabetz as Levusha Teira Mitzvahs, to cleanse the Aveda. 295. That cleanse the Aveda of the Aveda Levusha Teira Mitzvahs, meaning that even the Yetzer Hara is cleansed in the Aveda. Because Lepel, how do we do Teira Mitzvahs? You need a body and nefesh habamis to do Teira Mitzvahs. No body, no Yetzer Hara, you can do Teira Mitzvahs. So the Aveda is that they also become transformed. They become day. By day that Pe'eliyas. V'loi echad bahem. In other words, like this. He's going back to the pasuk. Yamim yutzaru v'loi echad bahem. Now, in the Tilim, there's a Kri and a Ksiv. We read it v'loi with a Vav, v'loi tehim echad bahem, or v'loi with an Ksiv is in an Aleph. So here he's explaining the way it is in the whatchamacallit. That is earlier. Before, no, 1 second. Yeah, Kuflamet test. There's two interpretations. But here the Rebbe is learning it means to bring down that level of Elokus into the world. V'loi echad bahem, meaning to be mamshich the echad into him. Here it says Yamim Yitzaru v'loi echad bahem.
Which better?
Kuflamet tes pasik tezayin. Gomor einach yamim yitzaru v'lei echad bahem. So here it says, even those to be formed in future days, to him they are the same. But this Chassidus explains, Yomim Yitzaru, Hashem gave us days, V'loi, and what's the mission of the Jew? He's going to explain the Aleph and the Vav in a second. V'loi, and to him, what's the Aveda? Echad, to bring down the Echad, Bohem, into the days. So the Rebbe is explaining here. The days that Peoli is V'loi Echad Bohem. Now, what does Loi Echad, but what's Loi with the Aleph mean according to Chassidus? Yeah? Loi means, okay, there's very, Rebbe is explaining this. Loi with an Aleph, and there's Loi with a Vav. Okay? Now, Aleph represents Echad, the level higher than the world. Vav represents the 6 midas. V'loi echad b'hem, which means, what's the aved of the... I'm not talking the simple meaning of the pasuk. I'm talking the Chassidus interprets the pasuk. Yomim Yitzaru, God gave us days. V'loi echad b'hem, which means, what's the aved of the Jew? To bring down the level of echad b'hem into the days. Now, v'loi is a vav, meaning not only do you bring down the level of aleph into the days, but loi with a vav into the 6 spheres also. He says, loi la'am shembechinas loi ba'aleph, which is the ksiv, shulamayla mehishtalshus, that it is higher than world, sheyom shech be'echad, hayidei loi b'vav, decree, which are vav midas el yonis. So what's the aved of a yid? To bring down Elokus into the world. That's the whole purpose of living.
So we're not touching low and low, we're just touching aleph and vav here.
Well, that's the lay, the lay.
No, but low...
Lay in an aleph, lay in a vav.
I'm trying to understand what low echad, it's not one. Now, what does that mean, low?
No, I mean in the future. Simple meaning, I read what the simple meaning is. But here we're talking about the aved of a Jew, when there's a kri and a ksiv. It's written one way, and you pronounce it, both are true.
One is more correct, no?
No. One is the revealed meaning and one is the hidden meaning.
Really, both of them are the same. Bring the aleph down.
Yeah, but aleph is to bring it into the aleph, and with the vav it means into the 6 spheres. He says, "Aidei loy bevav shem vav midas alyenis." 1 minute. Shedel pnim is habir shetzarch liyis inye yomim dafke. The Rebbe at the beginning of the Os asked the question, why is there emphasis ba bayomim, bringing Elokus down into the days? L'cha'ira, the whole thing is Torah mitzvahs, not days. So he says, this is the Pnimius Abir. Why it has to have days? K'vi shemevar tzamach tzedek. Shesherish yomim agashmiyim. Tzamach tzedek says like this. What's the source of the 6 days of creation? The 6 midas. We learned Sheishis Yamim. It doesn't say B'Sheishis Yamim. Sheishis Yamim As Hashem. Like we learned the first day Sunday was Chesed, second day we Gvura, third day. First 1,000 years, remember we said, the first 1,000 years it's Chesed, second 1,000 years it's Gvura, third 1,000 years Tiferes, until we come to Mashiach, which is the level of Malchus. See, the Mechzedek explains, Shesherish Yamim Gashmi. Who Meyomin Elohim comes in the spheres above, which are Midas Al Yenas, Shal Yodam Nimshechas. It comes all the way down to the level of Malchus. So that's why days are important, because what are we being mamshich? The spheres of above, and also not only that, higher, the echad, higher than like Yochid, higher than the world, we bring it down into the 6 meters, which is the source of the physical days. Therefore, Baba Yom is important, because when each day is complete, then you're bringing down that Aveda that brings down that level of Elokus into Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. The whole thing.
You could also say that it brings the Elokus into those 6 days.
Yeah, that's what we said.
Represent that 6 days, the 6 days of the whole.
That's what we said.
Exactly.
Exactly what I said.
So Rabbi, you're doing 6, not 7.
7 is a different Aveda, Shabbos. Shabbos, creation is forbidden. Because Shabbos connects us to Hashem in a higher level than creation. 6 days of the week, Hashem created, we create. There's a mitzvah to create, right? So during the week, we connect to Hashem as creator. Now Hashem is creator, like Chassidus brings down the expression, Leizeu Iker Alokus Mashu Beira Elimus. It's not the primary level of God that He creates world. Create worlds of speech, which is Malchus, which is the lowest of the lowest of the lowest. Yeah? So that Hashem, during the 6 days, we connect Him, He comes into the world on a level of creator. Shabbos, Hashem stopped creating. That means He's going back to the level higher than creation. So when a Yid, Shabbos, connects himself to the level of Hashem, which is higher than creation, higher than world. Which is the level of Machshava, by the way. Okay, Mamshel Ba Maamar. Then the Friedrich Rebbe continues in the Maamar. Shaidei Aveda involved. Shaidei Aveda Sabirurim, through the Aveda Birurim. That's why on Shabbos, what's the Aveda of a Yid during the week? To refine the world, separate the sparks of Kedusha from the. That's why Shabbos, Bered, selecting, separating, is forbidden on Shabbos. The Aveda of the Jew during the 6 weeks, Aveda Sabirurim. Shabbos is no Aveda Sabirurim. So therefore, it's Bered is also. Umezach and Se'elim da'esim mikasher Kaddish. You make from kasher the word Kaddish. V'hainu, the me'akasher da'elim. And he says, the word Kaddish is like this. Kaddish, yeah, Shaker, and Kasher. So first you have Kasher, which is not. That, which means, by the way, that the world appears itself to be something. Then you have Shaker, because the world is Shaker. Therefore it thinks itself to be something. Because Emes is Havayu Elikim. Einod. It's only Elukus. So why is the world think it's a separate entity? That's false. That's Shaker. And this you transform to a Mishkan of Keresh. This, that the world appears itself to be a separate entity, this is the level of Sheker. So therefore, when you learn Tatum, bring down mitzvahs, like the Rebbe explained earlier in the Maamar, not only do you bring down Sefer Kol Almin, but you also bring it down into the Hislapshis, into Mamala Kol Almin. The Yeshivas Beganim, they come to listen and all that. Nisapach lekedesh kedesh hamishkan, which about it says, va'alzu limig shechanti b'seicham, which is atzi shitim aimdim. Like you said, from shtus of world to shtus of kedusha, and a way of aimdim or amud, standing upright, which connects heaven and earth, ceiling and floor. Like I explained earlier in the Maamar. Okay, V'inei. So he says like this: what's the Aveda Lepel? How does a Yid make a Beis Hamikdash within them? That's the Aveda of taking world, days, Torah mitzvahs, making night into day, making Yetzer Hara into Yetzer Tov, making Cheshech Shaker into Or, and that's the whole Aveda, making a Mishkan. Therefore, the Mishkan was Atishitim, to take shtus of foolishness, shtus to Kedusha. The Mishkan was made out of Kedesh, Kasher, Shaker, to take again the fake falseness of the world to make it a Mishkan. Huh? Kedesh, the boards, Kedushim. Singular is Kedesh. But you take the Kasher of the world, that world thinks itself to be something. Because it's Shaker, and you transformed it the Kedesh of the Mishkan. And that's why it's Atzi Shitim Oimdim, because when you do this, not only do you connect heaven and earth, but it becomes an amud, terach amudei earth, that the revelation of Elokus comes down.
The original Leviticus never talks like.
But what?
Sheker. So sheker, it's in sheker into.
Kaddish.
Kaddish
No. I mean, he doesn't speak about the concept of kasher, not a lot. It's alluded to, but he doesn't say it openly.
Like Kesher, you think you're a big boss here?
Huh?
Kesher, you think
He
you're...
said, no, the way the world is tied, it's like Kedush is tied to Klippa. Mutter Osir. Vina Kivin should say him the fail. The fact that what's the Aveda of a Yid to Pearl, Shemetzias Elam Leitia Beifin Shel Sheker, that the Metzias of world should not be false. What's the falseness? That it's a separate entity, that it's not a locus. Ela Beifin Shekeresh. She'inyan Zen Nasa Dei HaKesher. Now he's saying it this. First, the Rebbe explained in the previous paragraph that kesher is the way world thinks itself to be something. Now he says the Aveda also is to tie kesher, to tie sheker to keresh. That the sheker becomes bound to keresh. I mean, even the sheker feels kedusha, emes. Janasai de kesher shemekashin sheker ha'olam. Ima Metzias Amiti de Lamaila, which is Keresh. I remove on Shetza Metzias Atzma Sichel Ishtanis. The Metzias itself of world has to change. Because until now, it doesn't feel elokus. Now it does feel elokus. Before it wasn't bottle, now it's bottle. What?
Kesher means kasher.
Kesher.
Kesher
To
means
bind sheker to kedusha.
it has a meaning that it's something that's kasher.
No, that's with a chaf. Kasher is with a chaf. This is with a
Kesher
kuf.
means connection to good or to
Kesher means a knot.
I understand. Good. Is it a good connotation or a bad connotation?
First, the Rebbe is saying Kaddish. I mean, what is
It's very.
no Kesher. First, the Rebbe means the way it feels as a separate entity.
Right.
Then the Rebbe says, what's the avoida? Just like sheker is transformed to Kaddish and shtus. So, the word Kesher also means in a positive connotation to bind sheker to kedusha.
That's the filler, no?
That's a good thing.
That's it.
Let's see.
To make sheker emes.
Bind it.
Bind it.
Bind it.
That it becomes one. That's what he says. Shemikashin mesheker ha'olam. You bind falseness, darkness, with light, with the Metzias.
What is the difference between kesher and tefillah? Like in tefillah, to bind it, we say tefillah is
Also binding.
same thing, no?
Yeah. I moved on. In fact, when Chassidus speaks about there's iskashrus and ischabrus. Okay? Iskashrus, just the simple meaning of the words, it's a big difference. Iskashrus means you tie two things together, which means it's two separate things tied. Chibur is when you glue it.
Merge.
Join it, becomes one.
That's after.
That's higher than his kashrus.
Kesher?
His kesher means it's a knot. This table is tied to this table. So there's two separate tables tied together. Chabrus, chibur, means it becomes one. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. But achdus is higher than his kashrus.
Yes.
His kashrus means by definition a tying of two things, connected, tied.
Achdus is ech.
You're tied to the Rebbe, but that's his kashrus. There's a greater level, you become one.
Chevra comes from chevra, to be
Ish chubra lo yachtov. Why was Chevron called Chevron? It's explained, chubra lo yachtov. It's the city of chibur, connection.
Is it shaykh to become have achdus with the Rebbe?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be happen with you and me, but it's shaykh.
His kashrus is shaykh.
Yeah. I move, you do what he wants. I move and come tomorrow night. I move and shemetzias at metzichel ishtam v'inyin k'mi shemevarech hakad mor marash. Like the Rebbe Marash explains in the Maamarim of Shabbos after the Leida and Bris. The Friedrich Rebbe was alive for 3 years. The Rebbe Marash, the Friedrich Rebbe was born Tafresh Mem. The Rebbe Marash passed away Tafresh Mem Gimel. So by the Bris, now the Rebbe Marash was still alive, right? So he says that the Rebbe Marash, in the Maamarim, that he said in conjunction with the Friedrich Rebbe's Bris, it says, the Gemara says, Alma, my koyim, what does the world exist on? And saying the Kaddish of Amen Yeshmei Rabba after learning Agadita, which are like not the halacha of the Gemara, the stories of the Gemara. So the Rebbe Marash explains, this is what the Gemara says. The Gemara says in Saita that what does the world stand on? And the Amen Yeshmei Rabba of Kaddish. So the Rebbe Marash asks, what do you mean? The world exists not in Kaddish, the world exists B'dvar Hashem Shemayim Nasu. And he asks, what's the question of the Gemara? Alma Mai Koyim, how does it exist? Hale b'dvar Hashem shemnaim natsu. Even tuvim chadim yichayim tam ma'aseh bereishis. So if that's the case, a makom klal lishel al ma'amarim. What do you mean? What's the world existing on? Standing on? It's standing on what Hashem put his dvar dibur in the world. And the Rebbe Marash explains, and he says like this: based on what the Chazal say. Okay, so he says before that, it says in the Gemara in Seita, at the end of Seita, Mishachar Beis Hamikdash, once the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, every day gets more cursed than the earlier day. Every day it gets worse. And on this the Gemara asks, now what it's meaning like this, and the Rebbe explains. But now the world is dark. Now the world is cursed. So now what does the world stand on openly? Become a king. Kivin shebachol yom kolosim miruba. Every day the curse gets worse. Ama koyim alma, meaning sheyishar tukuma sheyochel yishar tukuma bart. What keeps the world now lasting? Because now there's no Gilui of Elokus. Every day gets less and less revelation of Elokus. If there's less and less revelation of Elokus, how does the world exist? Meaning, now we need our Aveda.
What does Isha Daganita mean?
Amen Yehish Mirabah of Kaddish. Lezet Tzarech is Amen Yehish Mirabah Daganita. Shmei Rabbah. When you say Yizgadav Yizgadash, Shmei Rabbah. Shmei Rabbah means his great name. Now, what does that refer to? Not the 7 names of Hashem. The Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is higher than Rabbah, than the greater name. Because we said already in this Maamar, the 7 names of Hashem correspond with the 7 midos. Kel is Chesed, Elokim is Gvura, Yud Kei Vav Kei is Tiferes. But there's a level of Shmei HaGadol higher. Havaya Kel Racham V'Chanan. There's a high. What?
Ato.
No, that's not even Shmei. Shmei HaGadol is the name. The level of Yud Kei Vav Kei, we did before. The level of Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is higher than Atzilus. Yud Gimel Midas Rachamim, all that stuff. And therefore, this is why the Kaddish of Agadita, now why not Kaddish Yosim Yosef? So he's Kaddish Shmei Rabbah. He says, Sheuzel Inyan Seidus and Primus Atera. The Rebbe says in Tanya, in Kuntasachim, that Ein Yaakov said you should learn Ein Yaakov between Mincha and Ma'ariv, besides Halacha and a million other things to learn. But he said about Ein Yaakov, the stories of the Gemara, Sharev Seidus HaTeira Genuzimba. Most of the secrets of Teira are alluded to in the stories of the Gemara, the Agadita. So therefore, we're talking about Shmei Rabbah, Yud Kei Vav Kei, higher than world. Where does that level become down? Come down? In the Agadita, which is the Seidus HaTeira. 5:20.